Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is the 6th of February, 2015, and we're rolling on through the year. I believe January's gone already. Here we are already a week into February. Kind of a light week this week. I would expect next week to actually be quite busy because Chinese New Year will be starting on the 18th of February, running through the end of the month. So traditionally speaking, anybody who produces their kits in China, they're on a really reduced or not at all work schedule for that period of time, because most people are who live in the city go back home into the countryside to visit their families and all that kind of stuff. So there's like that. It's about 12-day period there where China shuts down for all intents and purposes. So like I said, next week will probably be busy. I kind of expected to have some more announcements than I do. But as of the time I'm recording this, Fujimi had not announced their March spot runs yet. So those will invariably probably be coming first thing this morning. But until they come out, there's nothing I can do about that. So we have two new kits in the sense that they are boxed in a new series. However, they themselves, the kits, are about 25, 30 years old now, which at one point in time would have sounded really, really old until you realize that 25, 30 years ago, that's the 80s. Man, you feel old all of a sudden. And then we have one reissue of a detail upset, and the three things we'll talk about in the release part will be all of January. The only thing we're missing will be some round 2 kits that have not come out yet. On the new release stuff, the stuff that we just found out about, we mentioned a couple things in the February release video. If you haven't watched that, because you watch the weekly thing, so you don't need to watch the monthly compilation thing, we did mention that Studio 27 is going to be doing a carbon fiber decal set for the Tamiya Porsche Carrera GT. They're also going to be rerunning their photo etch set for that car. The Porsche Carrera GT, of course, being the Porsche's most recent supercar prior to the 918. Well, probably now more famous than anything for being the car that Paul Walker died in over the summer. And, it's a car that I had actually asked Studio 27 to make a carbon fiber set for about 11 months ago. Now, I'm not going to take credit for it much, but I'm glad to see it come out because I really didn't want to deal with doing the whole carbon fiber template thing that Scale Motorsports does. I'm not a really big person on photo etch that doesn't come from the company. Most of my photo etch detail sets that I have are from Aoshima directly or from Tamiya directly. I really don't deal in the aftermarket photo etch all that much because you run into problems with things fitting. However, I probably will be ordering the photo etch set for the Porsche Carrera GT simply because I've had so much wonderful luck with their decals fitting the exact way they should that I'm going to go ahead and throw them a bone and order that set of photo etch. If it's a junk photo etch, I paid, well, it's not out yet, but I will pay $9 for it, which is substantially less than most photo etch sets you can get from like Model Car Garage for anything American. So it's not that big a waste of money if it doesn't fit. Mostly I'm looking for getting those engine covers. If you've ever seen the Porsche Carrera GT, obviously a rear engine car, like pretty much every Porsche, and the engine cover is a sort of a mesh rather than the clear parts that Tamiya provides, and there's no real way to make those clear glass parts look like metal without replacing them with metal. So I don't really know how much of the rest of it I'll use, but I really do want that engine bay cover section. Studio 27 is actually going to be doing a bunch of photo etch for a bunch of different kits, the LFA, the Ferrari 512 BB that Fujimi did, and just a whole slew of stuff. So if you're interested in it, I suggest you go to like HobbyLink Japan or Hobby Search and just check out the Studio 27 section and 124 scale, and it'll tip you off to everything you need to know as far as what's going to actually be released in February. In March, we announced this in the February video as well, but we want to cover it again now. In March, the end of March, is when Tamiya is planning to release that Mercedes-Benz 300 SL that they just showed at Nuremberg last weekend. Like I said in our Nuremberg video, that I expected that to be out in March so that it would correspond with the 60th anniversary of the delivery of the first one of the cars, and that is exactly what they're going to be trying to do. It is available for pre-order on both Hobby Search and HobbyLink Japan. So whichever one is your preferred vendor, I would go ahead and pre-order it right now. There has been a glutton of pre-orders from people that I've been talking to online. There's, people are ordering 2 at a time because the price right now in U.S. dollars is something around $28 with the exchange rate. And for people overseas, in England especially, or any place that uses the pound as your currency, the kits are coming in at like 18 pounds, which apparently is like ridiculously cheap. Apparently, to me, kits usually are like 30 pounds. So, I'm not good in that whole pounds to dollar to euro conversion thing. I just know the yen is weak against everything right now, and if you happen to have interest in that SL, now would be the time to get it, because more than likely in another week or so, it's probably going to go on order stop everywhere, because they're going to have take their couple caseloads that they're going to get at the very beginning of the release and be, have them all spoken for on pre-orders. Let's see. So there's that. Beyond that, in March, we've learned a couple of Aoshima spot runs that they're going to be doing. There's only 2 kits and 4 sets of wheels. They are probably more intent on trying to get the Loctite McLaren Longtail out on time. Finally, on time for it's like the 6th time they moved it, but it's supposed to come out this month of February. And, of course, the 50th Anniversario Aventador is supposed to come out in March. So I'm thinking that they're pretty much aiming for these 2 new kits, even though Loctite is just the same kit with a different set of decals, rather than worrying about running off a lot of spot runs. Because if you remember from February, there are a lot of Aoshima spot runs. This entire column right here is nothing but kits that they're supposed to release this month in February. So you're going to get the S30 Fairlady Z Aero Custom. This is a curbside Best Car Vintage kit. I think 2012 was when they added the Aero parts to this. It's just a regular off-the-shelf 280Z otherwise. It is, like I said, Best Car Vintage, so it is a motorized chassis. It's not even the generic Nissan chassis. It's even worse than that. It's a filler kit in the sense that this kit seems to get reissued about every 8 months or so. I think I've talked about this kit coming out at least once in the time that I've been doing this video series, which goes back to last July. So this is the 2nd time it's been reissued, in 8 months. So I guess it's one of those popular kits that provides fodder for people who want to, build a custom 280Z. The other one being the Wonder A31 Nissan Cefiro. Wonder being a tuning house. This is more of a drift car than it is a tuner. It's not really a sporty car per se, because it's a 4-door. A friend of mine calls it the Impala SS of Japan, because that's sort of how they market it, as being a sporty 4-door luxury car. It's none of those things other than being a 4-door car. But the Wonder version, I don't think it was released last year, but it was released at the end of 2013, I want to say. And the kit itself is older than that, but the last time it came out was about a year and a half ago. It's another one of those kits that sells enough that they constantly keep it in rotation. And then we got a couple of announcements for April already. These being Aoshima, sort of, again, new kits. That being the 97 McLaren GTR Longtail number 41 Golf. You may recall that the Golf being the oil company, not a Volkswagen. You may recall we talked about this in brief passing, because it was supposed to be an export-only kit. You were only going to be able to get it from, say, Hong Kong or here in the States for the big marked-up price. But the actual car itself was driven by, I believe, a Japanese team, and it finished 2nd overall in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1997. And so apparently, eventually the brouhaha reached into management, and they decided to go ahead and release it in Japan. You could, of course, still probably get it a month or 2 earlier, maybe this month or next month, rather than waiting till April. If you want to buy it overseas, in the sense of in Hong Kong, probably the cheapest place, but if you want to buy it here in the States, assuming you could find one, I would just wait until April, unless you really, really want to build that car really, really bad, and you can't wait another 60 days. The other 2 kits, because these are going to be 2, 2014 Nissan GTR. This is the kit that just came out the end of last year. These are going to be pre-paints in brilliant white or dark metal gray. It's not like both in one box. One's going to be brilliant white. the one dark metal gray. So, following the pattern of most all of the GTR kits they've ever done, here comes the pre-paints on those. The pre-paints, sometimes they're on time, sometimes they're not. You may recall from, the fall, we watched those pre-painted 86 BRZ kits just sort of lag for months because they couldn't get the paint right. So we'll see if this paint, is right the first time around, or it requires several go-arounds. I guess that's probably it. The other thing is we've all mentioned this last video too, but the Aoshima Daihatsu Copen Active Top that's supposed to be released here in February. There's going to be window masks for that, and they're going to be including all the parts for all the Best Car GT kits, which includes the Export version, the Ultimate version, the 10th Anniversary version, as well as the Active Top. So you can build it one of basically 4 different ways, or you can use that Export version and build a car that didn't exist, like a 10th Anniversary left-hand drive car, because the left-hand drive kit itself was exported to like Germany and a couple of the European countries, and then like South Korea and a couple of Indochina. That's a long ago, far away way to describe that. A lot of Eurasian countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, places that drive on the correct side of the road, so to speak, is only former British colonies like Australia, Bahamas, and all of the UK drive on the the right hand side drive, other than Japan. Of course, I'm sure there's other countries out there that drive on the wrong side of the road as well, but those are the basic, primary ones. So it gives you a lot of options. There's a couple of different sets of seats, a couple of different sets of wheels, the decal sheet's real big because it covers all the decals for all the different models, and that's pretty much it on the news that we have. On kit release side of things, you may recall that we talked about the Tommy Ivo Showboat dragster. It's a 4-engine dragster. It was a promotional. It was an exhibition dragster. It never actually raced in real life in competition. But this kit was supposed to be released under the SSP program with a figure of Tommy Ivo and all this stuff. And it was in our January release video because it was in the January release that we saw from Revell. And then at some point in time in the last couple of weeks, they pulled it without me really paying attention because I don't check on their release schedule once I have it, and replaced it with the Build and Play Jeep Rubicon. This is a little, I think it's about 9 parts, so it's about 2 more parts than a normal Build and Play of a Jeep Rubicon. This is not a simplified version of the Lara Croft Tomb Raider kit, the die-cast that they put into plastic last year that's like 80-some pieces. This is a brand new tool, and a really sort of odd thing about it is the fact that the hard top, soft top, whatever the back end of it is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be a hard top, is molded to the body itself. But there's a separate hood, which poses the question of why you would separate the hood on a kit that not only doesn't have an engine, it's not even really a curbside, it's a chassis plate, 2 sets of wheels on metal axles that you snap into the chassis plate from the top, rather than sliding the axles through the chassis like you would on an old Craftsman style kit or a Promo style kit or anything like that. And then there's a 2-piece interior, 3-piece interior. I think it's a bucket, a dashboard, and the steering wheel. And then there's a 1-piece body with a separate hood. There's your 8-9 parts. I don't know if that was just something they haven't managed to get done, and the Ivo dragster was getting held up with something. But for some reason they swapped it out. Now that Jeep Rubicon, if you're interested in it, because the Build and Plays are being bought by some adult modelers to just to fiddle with. That is out. I saw it at my hobby shop on Wednesday when I was in there, so it is out there if you want one. And then, real quick, let's go through what we have here on the reissue side of things, because it is just one thing. Is this detail up part set for the Lamborghini Murcielago LP670-4 Super Veloce. This is, guys, the upgrade parts for the street car, not the race car. There is no set for the race car, but if you notice, there's seat belts and floor mats and stuff like that. It's a pretty, really decent detail upset. Photo etch, seat belts, metal transfers, little pre-formed floor mats. So it's pretty much got a little bit of everything in it. It's not just a sheet of photo etch. This is going for, I think it's about $12. So again, $12-13. Again, it's it's a humdinger of a deal if you have the Super Veloce kit and you want to add some detail to it. And then the other two things we have are Fujimi kits. These are the other two kits that were done in this new Circuit Wolf series that they're doing. But if you're familiar with Fujimi kits at all, you know that these aren't new models by any stretch of the imagination. This is the Ferrari Daytona, otherwise known as the Ferrari 365 GTB, done as the Sasuga Island Race, just sort of a generic, non-driver specific car. This is, guys, the Enthusiast Series kit. Underneath all this fancy Italian flag is the 190, 250, whatever it is, part Enthusiast Series kit. So if you happen to be looking for one of these, because the coupe itself has been out of production for a couple of years, you can still find the convertible and the Daytona Special in stock at different places, and you can back order them at different places. But the coupe itself has been out of production for a couple of years. You can't find them. They're getting kind of pricey on eBay because everybody loses their mind on these Enthusiast Series kits because they don't seem to realize that they're released in other series like this. This kit itself is like 2,240 yen, I want to say, which is like $19. If you go try to price a coupe on eBay, they're running like $40, $50. This is the same exact kit as the one that comes in the red box with the little window on top. The only difference with it would be there's a set of decals specific to the Circuit Wolf that have like weird license plates. They look like Q-scan boxes. The Q-scan box, by the way, if you're not familiar with that term, is that really weird squiggly line boxing that you always see on products that says, take a picture of this with your smartphone. They look like that. So there's not a real set of license plates in here, but it still has all the badging and dashboard decals and all the rest of that stuff. The other one that's that came out is this. This is the Porsche 930 Turbo. Hyun Sakon is the driver here. This, guys, again, another $19 kit, another Enthusiast Series kit. This is the 1976 Porsche 930 Turbo, known probably better here in the United States as the Porsche Turbo Carrera. Technically, it's a 911, but it's the 930 Turbo because, it's a Euro spec rather than being an American spec. I don't believe it actually comes with that number plate that's on the front of the car. It, again, has decals that have that weird barcode scan, but other than that, has all the Porsche logos, all the dashboard logos and all that stuff, and it is all 200 and some odd parts of the Enthusiast Series kit. The actual 74 or 76 rather Porsche 930 Turbo kit has not been out since 2007. So if you have been looking for one of these and weren't willing to pay the nearly $100 that one of the original boxed Enthusiast Series kits go for, Shazam! Here is the solution to your problem. The other kits that are coming out in this series, the only other one that could be an Enthusiast Series would be the Countach. We'll see what that is because I believe the LP400 Countach Enthusiast Series kit is actually out. So it might just be the curbside one, but the curbside one is out too. The Countach will stay in production a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what that kit ends up being because the LP400 will be a February release, allegedly. But that, guys, is that. Like I said, wasn't a very busy week on the release side of things. Everybody's sort of getting over their post-Nuremberg hangover. But as I said, I think it'll be a busy week next week, although the 11th, which is Wednesday, is Japanese National Founding Day, I believe is what they call it. It's basically the Japanese equivalent of the 4th of July. So everything will be closed in the middle of the week, and we'll see how many people either show up beforehand or afterwards. You got a holiday in the middle of the week there. Do you really going to go to work on Monday and Tuesday or Thursday and Friday, depending on how you want to look at it? So, but everything's going to be open. I just don't know how much stuff's going to get accomplished, and that's it. I'm trying to think of something cool to say and neat, but I was expecting more this morning, and there really was nothing in the reissues the last 2 days. And there hasn't been any new kit announcements since Tuesday, so that's all we got. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, comment, and pass along to your friends. I think we had 68 subscribers when I looked last, so another 3 people joined. Hello. When we get to 100 subscribers, I know it's a small number compared to some people on here, but when we get to 100 subscribers, we are going to do something very special and do a giveaway. So, share it with your friends. Get us up to 100. Get free swag. And no, it's not going to be goofy staff project stuff, nor is it going to be some busted kit I have laying around here. It'll be something really, really neat. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it'll be open to everybody. if we'll figure out a way to actually hold the contest, the drawing, whatever you want to call it, for it. But you know what, guys, you got to find me like another 30 people to subscribe to the channel before we even have to worry about it. So, it's getting a little chilly outside. It just makes it a little chilly in my basement here, and I'm gonna cut this short. So, we'll see you guys next week. See you on the other side.